Local news that matters. This is WTWO 630 Today.
Well, good morning to you all on this snowy Tuesday, February 16th. I'm Nicole Christine. Thanks for hanging out with us here for WTWO 630 Today. Well, all yesterday, we brought you the latest on this winter storm. We are continuing that coverage this morning. Meteorologist Savannah Brito is here keeping you up to date on the weather conditions. And we have Dana Winklepleck live in the outdoors with the latest on road conditions. We'll start with Savannah, who has an update on this weather.
Thank you, Nicole. Most of the snow at this point has subsided, but earlier this morning, when I was driving into work about 2:30 to 3, there still were snow flurries lingering, so we got a little bit more, but this system did bring us 7.9 inches of snowfall from the system we saw yesterday into the overnight hours. We are dealing with visibility restrictions as we speak. Terre Haute is down to 4 miles right now. Paris down to 5, along with Champaign. Mattoon is down to 2.5 miles of visibility. Robinson down to 3, Effingham 4, and Danville under 2 miles. So there are patchy areas of denser fog out there this morning. So be careful if you do have to travel on the roads. Here's a live look out of our Graber Post Buildings camp. So snow has subsided, but road conditions still are not the best. Trucks and cars are traveling very slowly. So again, if you do have to travel, reduce speed and leave yourself enough room in front of the car in front of you. Temperatures across the valley are cold. 10 degrees in Bloomington, 8 degrees in Terre Haute, 7 in Crawfordsville, and 4 degrees in Mattoon. There is a wind chill out there this morning, though, so it feels like negative 14 in Mattoon, negative 7 in Terre Haute, and negative 10 in Vincennes, and negative 4 over in Greencastle. Every single temperature out there across the Wabash Valley does feel like below zero. And here's a live look out of our radar just showing that the snow has subsided and moved northeastward now. I'll have more on the conditions in just a few minutes. Let's head over to Nicole now.
All right, thank you, Savannah. Well, due to those rough road conditions, all Indiana counties in our viewing area are under some sort of travel advisory. All local counties other than Clay, Owen, and Greene are under a warning. That's the highest level of travel advisory, meaning travel may be restricted to emergency management workers only. Clay, Owen, and Greene counties are under a watch, which means only essential travel, such as to and from work or in emergency situations, is recommended. Now, we do have Dana Winklepleck outside our studio. She's been getting the most recent updates all morning from several local counties. What can you tell us, Dana?
Oh, you know, thanks so much, Nicole. Savannah's been talking about how cold it is out here this morning. And you know what? I can attest to that. It is very cold out here today. In fact, giving some of our equipment a little bit of a fit today just because of this cold weather. We have been asked to stay in if at all possible and stay off of those roads if you can do that. But as you know, a lot of people can't stay home. Maybe they have to go to work or do whatever needs to be done. So I have been on the phone with dispatchers throughout the county throughout the morning to find out about road conditions and accidents, things like that. Well, I did find out that places like Vigo County, Sullivan County, they tell me that they have seen lots of slide-offs, lots of people stuck in the snow that officers had to go out and help with, but no major accidents. And then other places like Martin County and Davis County, they tell me they didn't get any calls at all from people who were stranded. So either people are staying in there or maybe just being able to help themselves if they get into a situation. Now, over in Illinois, kind of the same thing. We've had reports of slide-offs, people in ditches, people stranded in the snow, but no major accidents there as well. Now, this is US 41 behind me. Of course, this is a major road. Cars making their way down the road today, some of them going, you know, slower than they usually do, but they are getting to where they need to go. We have had crews out as well, and they say the major roads like US 41 are passable. Some of the side roads, not quite as good, but people who live in subdivisions, maybe an apartment complex, a lot of those places have not seen a plow at all. So if you are going to be out today, make sure that you are careful. If yesterday was the big snow, today definitely going to be the big dig out. Back to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Dana. Now, Sergeant Matt Ames with Indiana State Police tells us there have been 27 crashes and 21 slide-offs within the past 24 hours. And on the phone now, we have Jason Tiller from the Indiana Department of Transportation to tell us more about how much longer we can expect snowplows out on the roads. Jason, good morning.
Good morning.
And we've been talking all morning about this process of clearing the roads. What can people expect as they start their day, and what do people need to be aware of as the roads continue to be cleared?
So the most important thing people can remember is that we're still at full call out, and we're going to continue to be at full call out until we have the roads clear. And that's in the Vincennes district. That's about 120 trucks, and as you mentioned earlier, that's about 11,000 trucks statewide. So that's a lot of yellow vehicles out on the roadways clearing snow. And so the most important thing for people to remember is to give them some room. If you're on your way into work or you're just traveling for whatever reason, make sure if you see a plow, if you get behind a plow, give them some room to operate. That's the most important thing, especially on some of the smaller two-lane roads in the state. They have quite a big blind spot, unfortunately, in these trucks, and so if you're trying to tailgate or if you're trying to pass or something like that, there's a good chance they may not see you, and that could be a disastrous situation for everyone involved, especially if they have to make a maneuver really quickly. You know, we always like to say the safest place to be in a snowstorm is behind the plow, because at least then you know you're on a freshly treated roadway, and you're not going to have to deal with those elements as much. But if you do have to pass a plow, or if you have to get around it somehow, please just do so judiciously, as safely as you can for conditions. We want to make sure that everyone gets to their destination safe, even if they make it there a little bit slower.
All right. Well, Jason, thank you so much for your time this morning, and thank you all for all of your crews out there. Be sure to thank them for us as well.
Absolutely.
All right. And as we continue our winter weather coverage, we checked in with those down in Knox County about their current road conditions, and Lindsay Jackson joins us now with the latest from right outside our station. Lindsay, what are officials saying?
Now, Nicole, fortunately, when I spoke to Knox County Dispatch a few moments ago, no slide-offs or other accidents had been reported overnight. However, they did tell me that the road conditions down there are still pretty bad. There's some slick roads and some streets are still snow-covered. Now, as you can see, this snow out here is that fluffy kind. It's not really the hard and wet kind that you'd use to build a snowman, and it's definitely not safe to be out on those roads. So if you do go out, make sure that you use extra caution. Back to you, Nicole.
Thank you so much, Lindsay. Sad about the snowman, though, but that's okay. We'll work on it. All right. Well, as snowfall continues, you may be asking yourself, when or why should I call 911? Well, do I call 911 if my power goes out, if I'm unsure of roadways, shortness of breath after shoveling snow? Zeke Torres got some answers from local first responders.
With the Wabash Valley seeing some of its heaviest snowfall in years, first responders say they receive a lot of calls due to weather-related accidents.
We have accidents that are caused by overconfidence in a vehicle's system. You know, people have a lot of four-wheel drive and all-wheel drive vehicles, but they have to understand that they're not impervious to damage and to the elements.
For drivers who slide off the roadways, the next steps are crucial to ensure proper help is dispatched.
The very first thing we want you to do is activate your emergency lights, and then we want you to dial 911 so that way we can get assistance to you as quickly as possible. You need to let the dispatchers know what type of accident you're involved in.
According to Indiana State Police Sergeant Matt Ames, before calling 911, it's important to assess the level of emergency in any situation.
Some of the calls that we do receive is like if your power goes out. Well, we don't control the power. You do not take those type of calls, and we ask for you not to call 911 to find out what the road conditions are.
Clay County EMA Director Rob Gamble says there are circumstances he's seen where people are hesitant to call 911, but should.
They get maybe a heart condition. They get overcome by the snow shoveling and have trouble breathing, may pass out. So those are some of the true emergencies that we get.
According to both Ames and Gamble, extra first responders will be available within their districts.
If you feel it's an emergency, we want you to call 911.
And authorities remind you to limit your travel, and if you must go outside, do so with a lot of caution. And we do have some helpful information for our viewers who do need to check on road conditions before leaving this morning. People can visit the Indiana Department of Transportation's website, download INDOT's mobile app, or call 1-800-261-7623. That's for the conditions of Indiana's roads. For conditions in Illinois, people can go to gettingaroundillinois.com, or they can call 1-800-865-5394. And be sure to check out our website to follow the latest developments with this winter storm. You can stay up to date on closings, cancellations, road conditions, and see snowfall photos. Our weather team will also have the latest info for you, and you can check the radar out as well, all on our website, mywabashvalley.com. And local schools, speaking of canceling, are canceling in-person classes due to this weather. All Vigo County schools will have an e-learning day today. Offices and school buildings will be closed for the day, but students and teachers will still participate in remote learning. And again, you can see a full list of school closures on our website. Meanwhile, the Indiana State Department of Health says Hoosiers who have COVID vaccine appointments this week should be aware that the weather could impact clinic operations. In fact, the Vigo County Health Department said it's contacting people who had appointments at the Sears Clinic, which is closing because of the weather. The state is working with local vaccination sites to reschedule appointments as needed. People whose appointments are impacted will be notified by email or text message about the need to reschedule. That can be done by calling 211. A reminder, the vaccine in Indiana is currently available to Hoosiers age 65 and older. Well, a local effort to provide people in need shelter from this extreme cold has been going well. That's according to the organizations involved. As we've reported, Reach Services and the Homeless Council of the Wabash Valley opened a warming center at St. Stephen's Episcopal Church in Terre Haute at 215 North 7th Street. A case manager with Reach says they've been giving shelter to about 15 guests a night since the center opened last Saturday. Not only are they giving people a warm place to stay, but also warm food.
Appreciative is probably an understatement. That we have gotten profuse praise, and everybody is just happy to be here, happy to get a hot meal and a place to sleep out of this bad weather.
And Miller says the center has not had to turn anyone away since it opened. Good news there. Well, still to come this morning, Savannah has a check of your forecast and the continuing weather system. Plus, teachers in Chicago are receiving the COVID-19 vaccine as the vaccination process continues.
You're watching WTWO 630 Today with Nicole Chrissy and meteorologist Savannah Brito.